The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
Hello and welcome sim racing fans here to LSRTV, here for the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, here presented by English Auto L.L.C. here tonight from the Martinsville Speedway. Here joining me tonight is Corey Silva and Evan Black. I'm Brandon Kreutz. Producing for us tonight is Cisco Scaramuza. And yeah, everybody, we're here from Martinsville Speedway, the Paperclip. How you guys doing tonight?
Good for another exciting race at the Paperclip here in Martinsville, Virginia. Qualifying underway for these drivers here tonight. 150 laps around the Martinsville Speedway. Should be a good, hard-nosed, short-track battle.
Yeah, Martinsville is always a fun track to come to, and expect a really good race tonight.
Absolutely, guys, and you know, some nice short track action here tonight. I really quickly want to run through the point standings real quick. So far in the points lead, it is Daniel Eberhard with 150 points holding the top of the standings right now. Then it's David Washington back there in second, 9 points behind. Then 25 points back is Seth the Merchant. Michael Cozy Jr. back there in the fourth position points. Fifth position is Brandon Bowie, 35 points back. Christopher Harlow, 39 points back. Back in the seventh position is Michael Garlua, 40 points back. And back there in eighth is going to be Nick Silver. Ninth is Tommy Raines. And 10th is Spencer Preet. So top 10 in points right there. And I do apologize on one of those names. It was Herlo.
And just something I'm noticing, guys, here in qualifying right now, our points leader, Daniel Eberhard, he's all the way down to the 14th position, which here at Martinsville, that is a pretty precarious position to be in. You don't want to be there in the middle of the bee's nest with all the bumping and banging that we may see.
Yeah, right there in the middle of the pack. He's only about 3/10 off of first, but with how short this track is, times are really, really close.
Yeah, so qualifying kind of wrapped up here for now. These guys, I think, in their set positions right now so far, it's David Washington up on the top of the charts right now. And yeah, Corey, as you said, our points leader kind of further back there in the pack right now, sitting in the 14th position. So really quickly, I want to run down, what do you guys expect to see here for tonight?
Well, the Martinsville Speedway, as we know, it is two long straightaways and two very sharp turns, so very hard braking zones. That is the passing opportunities. But something that we do notice here with the dynamic track on iRacing is that bottom's going to rubber up, and you're going to have to move around to find some grip and to get off these turns.
Yeah, I've seen here sometimes even you want to get up in that third lane and then cut down right to that yellow curb on exit, and you can usually get a pretty good run out of the corner by doing that.
Yeah, very, very good points. One thing to also point out, guys, is once this track starts to get rubbered up, it would not surprise me if these guys started to move up the racetrack, at least on corner entrance.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of difficulty getting the throttle down once you're getting into the run. Once you're kind of into your zone, you're really going to have to protect those rear tires. That's going to be the key. If you get off the start and get a good run on the early part of the run, you're going to be detrimented later on.
Yeah, you're really going to have to conserve those rear tires so you can get off of these corners.
Ladies and gentlemen, 150 laps here being run tonight. Race weather looking pretty good. Mostly cloudy, 65 degrees. Track temp around 72. Here in the afternoon, winds about southwest 3 miles an hour. And things looking pitch perfect here for race time. Once again, the RSR Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series here tonight, presented by English Auto L.L.C. here. These guys ready to get going, ready to put on a good show for everybody. As these guys get ready to grid, we'll bring you your starting lineup. So, starting on pole right now, it's going to be the number 98, David Washington, with a time of 19.114. Back there in second is going to be Andrew Farnaz with a time of 19.141. Then it's going to be Spencer Pre in third, Jeff Ward in fourth, and in fifth it's Austin Coob. Corey? Starting in sixth is going to be Brandon Bowie. Then it's going to be Michael Garlia, Harry Tiller in eighth, I apologize. Gabe Wood in ninth, and starting in 10th is Dylan Jones.
The 11th position, we have Carl Shedd. In 12th is Daniel Falkingham. 13th position, Shane Ewing. And 14th, Galen Gidman. And then rounding out the top 15, Daniel Eberhardt.
Looks like starting in 16th, really Sean Casto, then Shane Parrish in 17th, Kyle Cameron 18th, Dwayne Vincent 19th, and then rounding out the top 20 is James Ross.
Starting in 21st is Randy Yoakum, AJ Browning in 22nd, 23rd is Ross Cato, then it's Braden Whitaker, and rounding out top 25 is Drew Adamson. Corey?
All right, and then we have Nick Silver, 26, Eric Stanford, 27th, and then rounding out the top 30, Mike Taylor, Seth DeMerchant, 29th, and then Lionel Calisto in the 30th spot.
Then rounding out the field, we got Rod Flagg in 31st, James Krahula in 32nd, Brian Chambliss in 33rd, Andrew T. Jones in 34th, and then rounding out the field in 35th is Colby Buck.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting lineup here on LSRTV and iRacing Live here tonight from the Martinsville Speedway. These guys ready to go 150 laps around this race circuit. These guys looking like they're about ready to roll off here tonight.
There'll be 2 pace laps around the Martinsville Speedway here today. 150 laps as we said. So we will see what kind of start these guys get. Full field here at the Speedway, so it should be a lot of action.
Yeah, and with this 35-car field, when the front of the field is coming to take the green, the back end of the field will most likely still be on the backstretch. They'll already be starting to have a lap behind.
Yeah, something interesting to note there, and something that's, you know, is also a thing here is the guys in the back, even under the yellow flag, have been put at the risk of being put a lap down here at the Martinsville Speedway. It's almost best to take 2 tires, come around, take 2 more tires if you're at the back of the pack to reduce that risk. But, you know, something that these guys got to watch out for, even under the yellow flags here tonight. And, of course, pitting under green, you can lose up to 3 or possibly even 4 laps. But these guys stacked up, doubled up, ready to go. Green flag racing here tonight. Pace car drops down into pit lane. It's on the leader, the number 98, Daniel Washington, ready to get this field underway. 35 cars here at Martinsville Speedway. They're on the throttle. Green flag is in the air.
And a pretty good jump from the 98.
There's a wreck behind him.
Caution flag on the Speedway. Oh, no, oh, no. Let's go back and take a look at what happened there. A wreck, stack up, it looked like, right at the drop of the green flag.
Oh, that was our points leader. So
yeah.
Forced into that.
It looked like stacking up there. A couple of guys started to go a little bit early, and it looked like a couple of guys got rear-ended there, sent the 90 hard up into the inside wall there, and everybody kind of piled in from there right off the start.
Pretty good job overall to minimize the contact there from other drivers, but yes, a significant horrible start to the race for the 90. You can see the damage to the front of that car. I do not know how well he's going to be able to maintain.
So these guys, you know, and that's something that happens here, guys, especially at a track like Martinsville. Something happens, there's a checkup, which is very common here in any racing series, and, you know, there's just nowhere to go.
And it's also really difficult as well, where you'll have people starting the race on the restarts. They'll be starting at the corner exit, which is natural, but then you're going to have people on the back straightaway. They're going to be on the throttle and having to approach turn 3 and 4 as if it's a standard turn and actually hitting the brakes for it. It's kind of a really awkward situation for a restart.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, like you said, Corey, very awkward approach for any start or restart here, and something that these guys really do have to be cautious of, because some guys gonna have more speed than others, especially coming off that corner. You really got to watch it here, and everyone's already really close together.
So we saw a couple drivers at the tail end of the field. Obviously, we did see the points leader coming into pit road, Daniel Eberhardt, to work on that damage. And something, again, with short tracks, with as short as these pace laps are, you really can't get much damage repaired under the yellow flag here.
Yeah, you usually can only, if you're at the tail end of the field, you can probably only get about 10 seconds, if that, of it fixed.
But I guarantee you something that these guys are not so worried about here tonight at Martinsville is the cosmetic side of things. Their cars, chances are you will see a lot of beat-up cars by the end of this thing. Caution has been held off by a lap here, so these guys are stacked up, doubled up, but we will not be taking the green this time by.
Yeah, but getting back to your point, Brandon, about cosmetic damage, the biggest concern with damage here is if you do have too much front-end damage, you're going to have to watch those temps. You're not going to be getting the air into that radiator, so there is a possibility to overheat the engine here.
Yeah, absolutely, Corey. And, you know, I think pretty much any hit cosmetically besides the nose will be okay, but as you said, that opening for the radiator just has to be cleared, otherwise it's just not going to work out. But we will be taking the green flag this time by. The field is ready to go. Corey, take it away for the restart. Oh, just kidding, lights back on the pace car.
Just like a lot of guys got trapped a lap down because of when that caution came out, so they're trying to get all of them back on the lead lap that they can. So they're just trying to delay it and get everyone back in the lead lap.
Yeah, and props to the race officials for keeping an eye on that for sure. So these guys trying to keep it fair and square here for all these race drivers.
So as we come through turns 1 and 2, for the time being, lights are out, so this should be the time by. We will get this race restarted here. Pace car takes the hard left into the pit lane here in the entrance of turn 3. We will have to go all the way around 3 and 4 and await the number 98 machine, David Washington, to get on the loud pedal. And there he is, green flag in the air. We're back racing.
Washington.
Better start that time by.
Yeah, he got a really good jump on that restart and was able to clear that 88 down into turn number 1.
Heading down the back straightaway now. Washington cleared for the lead. Some guys still trying to fight to get into line behind them, but for the most part, everything is singled out.
First car to the outside groove right now is Gabe Wood in the 00. He is to the outside of Dylan Jones at turn 1. Very high as the 00. Looks like he may be getting freight trained.
Yeah, losing a lot of positions. This is his opportunity to get down. He ducks down in front of the 1 car that time by. That's going to be Daniel Foggingham behind him in the 1 machine. He'll get into line. Everybody singled out for the most part, but still racing really close together.
Yeah, just a lot of nose-to-tail racing right now. Everyone just jockeying for as much position as what they can get. Looks like most everyone's single file for the moment.
So this is the opportunity that you need to figure out what your car is doing here, to kind of get the groove, figure out how hard you can drive, how hard you can get back on the gas. This is a really kind of a learning point in the race for these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. And These guys, I think, gonna try to take it easy, gonna try to save their tires a little bit if they can here at the beginning portion of this race, trying to prepare in case we do have a longer green flag run here, guys.
Yeah, you can already see the track really starting to take rubber in the bottom groove here, which will make this track a lot tighter. It'll make it more slick, so you will have to see these drivers move around, but it looks like they will ring around the bottom for a little bit more.
See, maybe once they get 5-10 laps on their tires, they might start moving up the track. Caution on the racetrack. Turn
like
4.
Colby Buck in the 82 and the 2 of actually the 2 of
Drew Adamson.
The 2 of Colby Buck and Drew Adamson, excuse me, coming off turn 4 here. So we'll pull up the LSRTV replay and see what happened.
Looks like heading down into turn 3, things kind of got bottlenecked there a little bit. 24 machine didn't really have anywhere to go. He tried to go on the low side, it looked like, to avoid that mess. Unfortunately, looked like the 82 Drew Adamson was already down there, collected a couple other guys. The 2 machine did a good job stopping, trying to keep the damage to a minimal, but yeah, so that brought out our second caution of the night here so far.
It's like a few drivers coming down pit road. And most are staying out.
And I know we did, all 3 of us, as a matter of fact, were in the NASCAR iRacing Fix Series last night, so we kind of had some experience in this combination, and we do know how vital track position is. As much as you may want the tires, you really can't afford to drop to the back unless you have a lot of guys going with you.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, I think a track position, now correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, but I really do think track position is going to be key.
Yeah, I agree with that, because the tires, they can make you a little bit quicker, but still, once you get behind a car, tires really aren't going to help you too much getting around them.
Yeah, if you drop as far back, if you're in the top 5 and you drop even back to the latter half, the top 10, 12th, 14th position, you're really going to have a hard feat getting back up there without having to maybe ruffle some fenders up and maybe creating some rivalries in the process. So you really kind of want to keep that position until you really, really can't drive that thing anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. So David Washington still out here in the lead. Behind him in the second position so far is going to be Andrew Fernaz.
Jeff Ward 3rd, Spencer Preet 4th, and Brandon Bowie in 5th. That is your top 5 here as we're on lap number 18 of the race right now, out of the 150 scheduled distance tonight. Second caution of the race we have had so far, so most of the people still in the race. We have, what is it, about 23 drivers still on the lead lap.
Yeah, I believe that is correct, Corey. Yeah, about 23 drivers still on the lead lap right now. So, you know, that puts the whole tail end of the field a lap down. The first car 2 laps down is back in 32nd. That's Shane Parrish.
But we're on the back straightaway now. The lights are on the pace car, so take it away for the restart.
Pace car down on pit road now, comes through turns number 3 and 4, waiting on David Washington to get onto the throttle. And there he goes. We're back underway here at Martinsville.
Another pretty good restart here for these guys. Now heading down into turn number 1. The 98 manages to clear for the lead. 88 right on his back bumper. They're going to be side by side behind him.
A big dive into turn number 1 and 2 for Jeff Ward in the 89. Gets to the inside of Spencer Preet. They'll be side by side off of corner number 4. The 37 doing a very good job hanging on the top side of the racetrack.
Yeah, out of 4, Preet got a really good run, and down the front stretch now into turn number 1. He drove it in there deep. He slid up the track a little bit, but we'll see if he'll be able to get that run out of 2, and he stayed even.
Trying to use the momentum from the high side. They're still holding 2 by 2. The 89 on the low side, 37 up on the high side right now. It looks like Ward may get cleared, but no, the momentum from the high side, it's starting to work out for these guys.
Ward had an advantage going into 1. It looks like he will clear out of 2. Yes, he will. Now the 43 is looking underneath that 37.
Bowie
Here comes the 43.
A little bit of contact to the left rear, quite nearly. The 43 tried to fill in the gap that was open there by the 37 up top, but it looks like Preet will pull to the outside. Caution on the speedway.
Wreck on the front stretch.
Seth DeMerchant, we have a stack up
Big
here.
wreck.
Oh my, oh my. Big carnage on the front straightaway. Going back on replay, gonna try to take a look at what happened. Looks like
Seth DeMerchant to the inside of the racetrack here. That's where I was seeing a little bit ahead of the 32 machines. Shane Ewing, he got
shot to the back bumper from the 8 machine on corner exit. Maybe a little bit loose.
Yeah, just turn him around right in the middle of the track. 57 to DeMerchant, and then they all pile in there and turns into a junkyard off turn number 4. But
and as we talked about before, guys, know where to go when something like that happens.
yeah, very narrow track here. So once you get off turn 4, it takes 2 cars to get sideways, and literally the track is just completely blocked. You'll see drivers as they did come into a direct stop. But the pits were open, and per what we expected, everybody did decide to keep it on the speedway this time by, so nothing has changed up front. Washington has led all of the laps thus far. It did look like, guys, from what we saw with Spencer Preet in the 37 there, that outside may start to come in because he was really doing a masterful job holding off Ward there for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, so far, I mean, in your guys' opinion, we've got now 25 laps in the books. We're currently on lap 26. Do you think that these guys have any feel for the race car yet?
I would
They've got
say
a feel
so.
for it on short runs. It's going to be kind of hard to get a feel for how it's really going to drive until they can get around 20, 30 laps in.
Yeah, what you can do on lap number 20 is no indication of what you'll do on lap number 60. So if this race really does stretch out, as I said in pre-race, the guy who maybe gets off to that quick start pulls away by about a half second, you'll probably be catching them and repassing them once once you kind of use what is left of your tires that he already used up.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, I believe this is our third caution of the night. So far, 98, David Washington has led every lap. The 88 has been right on his back bumper the whole time. It looks like, from what we saw, guys, that that higher line can start to work out. Obviously, we're going to need some more laps to get that upper groove kind of, you know, a little bit more rubbered in. The bottom groove is going to have to get a little bit worn out, but, you know, it could come into play.
Yeah, right now the higher line, it's a little bit colder and there's not as much rubber in it right now, so it's got quite a bit more grip right now.
So these guys stacked up, doubled up, ready to go back. Green flag racing once again. Pace car makes its way down into the Martinsville pit lane. It's all on the 98 machine. David Washington once again. The field rolls down through turn 3 and 4. He's on the throttle. Green flag back in the air.
88 did a little bit better of a job hanging in there on that restart. He's going to be right on the back bumper. That 98 can have turn number 2 now. It looks like that 98 is going to pull away.
Down the back straightaway into turn number 3, 98 with the clear-cut advantage, but still the two drivers that we saw side by side before, side by side again. Ward to the inside, Preet to the outside. Again, Ward gets almost clear, but then Preet drives it in harder to stay side by side.
Yeah, Ward on the bottom trying to defend, but Preet in the 37 up on a high side, still trying to get something for him. 4 cars under a blanket now as they head down the front straightaway. It looks like these guys kind of holding each other up. It's allowing more drivers to catch up and allow more drivers to get into the battle.
Yeah, we have Brandon Bowie, we have Dylan Jones side by side behind this pace lap formation here, 2 rows deep. This is allowing Daniel Falkingham and the 1 to close in on the battle. As you said, this will stack up the whole field if they stay side by side for too long.
Now that 89 of Ward has cleared, but down into turn number 1, 37 driving in deep, right on the right rear quarter panel of that 89, but out of 4, Ward will clear. Out of 2.
Yeah, so the 89, caution on the speedway,
Austin
turn
Coop
4.
is backwards off turn number 2.
It's turn 2, looks like.
Yeah, so curious to what happened there. We'll go back on replay.
The Austin Coop in turn number 2, the 82 machine. Just gave him a tap on the left rear. Drew Adamson in the 82. Big tap off turn number 2, spun him around on the back straightaway, and we are back under yellow.
So these guys will tuck in behind the pace car once again.
Looks like once again, most everyone's staying out on the racetrack.
And guys, something that we didn't call out, but I want to let the fans know, our points leader has retired from the race. Number 90, Daniel Eberhardt, 19 laps down. That car is already behind the wall, so not the night that the points leader was looking for.
And with David Washington, he's second in points, only 9 points behind right now. So that's going to be something to keep an eye out for.
Also third in points, Seth DeMerchant. Where is he? He's all the way back 2 laps down in the 30th position. So this race could definitely shake up your standings if it continues on the rate it's going.
Yeah, if it keeps up like it is right now, that's going to be a really good points night for Washington.
So these guys, I've noticed a trend here, even after all these cautions, guys, that nobody up front has swung their way into pit road yet.
It's getting to that point, and I've talked about this with Evan behind the scenes, where you have enough of these quick cautions. We do have heat cycles. They are something that does affect these iRacing machines, so enough of this start-stop going, you will start to feel some change in the car. You will start to lose the handle, so I would not be surprised if they will come to pit road after a couple more of these if we do have them.
Yeah, it looks like still the top 15 have yet to come to pit road this race. So I would expect probably in the next caution for these guys to start coming down pit road.
Yeah, absolutely. So very valid points, guys, here, and especially on a track like Martinsville, it's very important to be able to get that car rotated through the center of the corner, and as the tires start to wear, the cars may start to push a little bit, and on exit, you really want to try to keep it as straight as you can on exit, and again, that right rear, it'll start to wear out, that back end's going to kick out, it's going to make it a very difficult race car to drive.
Yeah, very difficult circuit indeed that we are at here today, but 1 to go has been shown. Lights out on the pace car. You saw the 9 Randy Yoakum getting his lap back for the wave around, but here we go on the back straightaway, ready for another restart.
Pace car ready to duck in this time by Evan. Take it away for the restart.
Pace car now in pit road, waiting on Washington to get on the throttle. Coming through turns number 3 and 4 now, and Washington is on the throttle. We're back underway, and he has cleared that 88.
Oh, big wiggle from a couple of guys behind him, but we keep it clean and green right now for the restart. 88 right on the back bumper once again at 98.
Battle of the race still going on. 89 and the 37 for the 3rd position. They cannot seem to shake each other on these restarts. Still, Ward trying to make it happen on the bottom, but Preet with that outside groove starting to rubber in a little bit more is really prevailing up there.
You'll see through 1 and 2 now. 37 Preet with a slight advantage, but out of 2, he's still going to get the run, and he might clear down into 3.
Yeah, so Preet just not giving up on the high side right now, but the 89 Ward still trying to defend his position on the bottom, but here comes the 43 machine once again. He wants to join the battle with these guys again.
Yeah, if that 89 and 37 stay side by side, this 43 might be able to get underneath Preet, but it looks like he's not going to be able to yet.
Heading down the front straightaway now across the stripe. Ward on the low side, Preet on the high side into the 37 machine. These guys have been fighting pretty much all race so far. Preet using that momentum very well that he's gotten up on the high side.
This may finally be the opportunity for Ward. He has cleared. He will he bring it to the top of the track? Yep, he will shut the door off. So finally the 89 moved into the P3.
Now we'll see if that 43 of Bowie has anything for the 37 of Preet. Now out of turn 2. Bowie got a pretty good run, but still not quite close enough to dive underneath him.
Heading down through the corner now, down off of turn number 4, down the front straightaway. These guys will single out Once again, the 43 machine right very close to back bumper of 37 to Preet, but I know Preet will not want to give up that position easily.
Yeah, not at all. You can really see the 43 starting to use that upper groove we've been talking about. Kind of got out of the rubber there into the lighter part of the concrete. Did not get the run that time by, but he's most certainly starting to experiment.
A couple of guys fighting back here around the 12th position. Galen Gidman just cleared for the 12th position. Now a couple of guys battling behind him. That's Shane Ewing and Harry Tiller back there. Or, excuse me, Carl Shedd side by side.
Yeah, the 45 is Shed on the outside of that 32 down into 1. Got pretty close to Gidman there, but it looks like they're stepping side by side out of 2. It's 32 with a little bit of a bubble.
Yeah, 32 kind of missed his marks there. Washed the 45 up the track just a little bit. Does the same there. 8 wheels is better than 4. Almost a little bit of contact there off turn number 4, but still no advantage at all.
You'd think these guys are fighting for the lead right now, trying to wash each other up the racetrack. Still going to be 2 by 2 heading down the back straightaway. 45 on the high side, 32 down low. It looks like the 32 machine going to tuck in behind the 45. Now Carl Shedd gets away with that one.
Yeah, so again, the side-by-side action here at Martinsville going on, but back to the front, guys. It does look like
trouble on the front straightaway. The 81 machine goes around.
Yeah, so we'll go back on a replay here, see what happened to 81 machine of Mike Taylor. Looks like here the 4 machine got into the wall there just a little bit, and it caused the 81 to maybe have a little bit of evasive reaction. Kind of turned a little too hard to the left, lost control of the vehicle, and into the wall he went.
Yep,
But Evan, as you predicted, Evan, everyone takes it to pit lane. All the leaders on this next caution, lap number 48, coming to pit road.
Yeah, that was about 10 laps, so just about everyone coming down pit road. It looks like about 3 guys are staying out for now.
The slow pit road speed of 35 miles an hour. These guys going to struggle not to speed. First pit stall goes to Washington, however. David Washington, the 98. We'll see who gets off pit lane first. Looks like close call. Looks like Washington got it.
I think Jones got it, but I think he got a speeding penalty.
Yeah, everyone's going around him, so you know, that's one thing I just mentioned, guys, that slow pit road speed limit. It's really easy to get up above that, and that's one thing that these guys really have to watch out for tonight.
Yeah, I know all about speeding penalties here. They are very easy to get here at Martinsville. Cost myself a race last night, as a matter of fact, but especially on these curved pit lanes, it's kind of hard to gauge your speed. There's a lot going on. You're looking for your stall over a corner. You're trying to merge out into a busy pit lane. A lot going on, so very easy mistake to make.
Once again, guys, this series is brought to you by English Auto L.L.C. English Auto L.L.C. is a full-service luxury automobile repair center in Odenton, Maryland, conveniently located to both serve the Baltimore and DC markets. English Auto specializes in Jaguar, Land Rover, Mercedes, Volvo, and BMW service. Founded in 2007, English Auto is now its 11th year of business, and with a staff that has over 60 years of combined experience in that automotive service industry. English Auto has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. For more information, visit them at www.englishauto.us and through social media at facebook.com/EnglishAuto and on Twitter at English Auto LLC.
But these guys are coming to the arena as the pace car is now in pit road. Field in the hands of the 43 of Brandon Bowie. Now comes through turn number 3 and 4, waiting for him to get on the throttle. And there it is. We're back underway here at Martinsville.
The 43 got a good jump on that restart. Remember, these guys did not come to pit road.
AJ Browning in the 20 all the way to the top of the racetrack, moving out of the groove. Here, we're around. We're wrecked on the back straightaway.
Oh, big pile up.
The track is blocked. Look at that mess we have. Everyone is stuck on the back straightaway.
No. The last thing we wanted to see was more torn up race cars.
Well, we did not get our wish, so we will go up on the LSRTV replay and see what happened there. We saw it was initiated with the number 20 machine, AJ Browning. See on the restart there. He really drove it into turn number 1 all the way out of the groove into the 4th lane nearly. There's some 3-wide action as everyone tried getting around him, and just some slight contact with the 00 off quarter number 2, and we see the eminent carnage from it.
Man, the 88 involved. I see the 00, the 89 involved, the 1 car, the 20, 97, and many more. So another big wreck puts us back under the yellow flag. 55 laps into this thing so far.
An interesting call there that Bowie in the 43 and Sean Casto in the 97, both staying on the racetrack. They have yet to come to pit road in this race. We also have Shane Ewing. He's been out for 21 laps on his run, and Ross Cato out for 22. They pitted on earlier yellows, so it'll be interesting to see if we do get going, how the 43 and 67 especially can hang on.
Yeah, looks like on this restart, Bowie will have Washington restarting right behind him, but with about 49 lap fresher tires.
And I mean, at this point, guys, I'd think that they'd be kind of stuck to stay out until, you know, the other guys' tires kind of wear out a little bit, because they really don't want to be sent to the very back of the pack.
Yeah, they see all this carnage and chaos going on back there, and they know they need to stay up front.
With everything that has gone on, we're down to 20 drivers on the lead lap right now. I believe Carl Shedd in the 45 being the last one of those. So, again, a pit stop by one of them up front, perhaps. They all the way back in the 20th position, 10 rows deep. And if that was the case, they would have been right there in that mess.
So, I mean, with the way that this race has gone so far, guys, and I do expect to see a pretty good run in here eventually. It's just, you know, obviously a track like this, it does take some time for these guys to get into a longer run type of mode. Once we get everything spread out, we should be okay. But from here on out, what do you guys expect to see for, you know, the rest of this thing?
I think we will see, as you said, get spread out. We will see who is indeed the best at saving their tires, but we have to get to that point first. But we will see if we can do it this time by pace car into the Martinsville pit lane. We'll see if the 43 with Brandon Bowie on these older tires can get the run he needs and get and hold on to the lead. Nope, we are holding the yellow.
Little bit of a miscommunication there, I think.
Yeah, the yellow has been called out again, so that is kind of a waved off restart there last second, so everybody will get reassembled there, and we'll do it again.
I think they may...
We'll have to hold it one more. Oh, we're gonna...
No, they're going this time. Nope, delaying it once again.
I knew they had to do it one more time. They had to get everybody situated again. That there was very lucky not to get a big wreck there. You know, that was a very close call between a couple of drivers, the 43 and the 98 especially. But these guys are ready to get going once again. The 43 still out front of this thing.
Everyone is assembled up yet again here on lap number 60, and we are going green flag this time by. We'll try that again. 43 on the inside on the older tires, as is the 67. Waiting for them to get on the loud pedal, and there they go, back racing at Martinsville.
43 was able to clear on that restart, but that 67 is all over his back bumper. Right behind him is the 98. A little bit of contact there between the 98 and 67.
Yeah, Washington got washed up a little bit there now. Preet right to his back bumper to 37. coming down out of turn number 4 this time by, looks like he may have some more company coming up. Galen Gidman of the 94 came from the back of this pack. Now he's fighting it up in the top 10.
Wreck on the
turn
turn 2.
Looks like I see maybe the 9 involved. Yeah, that was the 9 car. The 9 and the 13 involved in that one. 13 had a big run going into the corner. A little bit of a tap to the back bumper to the 9 machine sent him around. He locks up the brakes and prevents even more guys from getting involved in that one. Good job by him to lock those brakes down.
Yeah, a couple drivers going all the way to the curb there into the grass to avoid that incident. So again, could have been a lot worse than it was, but it'll take us behind the iRacing Mustang pace car yet again as we take lap number 64 here at Martinsville, and we'll see if anyone comes to pit lane.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, do you think the 43 and 67 will stay out, or do you think they'll come down? I think at this point they would be the only 2 to come to pit road.
67 thought about it, but we'll stay on the track, and Evan, it kind of puts them in that precarious position of, they kind of made their bed maybe to stay on the same strategy as the guys behind them, but, eventually they're going to have to bite the bullet and come down to the pit lane.
Yeah, we're getting ready to come up on halfway here in about 10 laps, and these drivers are still yet to come to pit road.
Yeah, absolutely, but I can't say it's worked out bad for them.
Yeah, they made it a couple laps there. If they made it 4 or 5 laps there on those older tires, they still got the runoff corner exit. They held them off for even a little bit. These heat cycles on the tires will kind of take the newness off the drivers who did pit, so the longer it does go, it does work to their benefit a little bit.
So, I imagine that would be the 2 to go signal right there. We should be taking 1 to green next time around, guys. So, the 43, Brandon Bowie, looking pretty good in his position, but he eventually will have company from these guys behind him.
Yeah, once again, you'll have the 98 restarting right behind them, and still with those 49 lap fresher tires. We'll see if he can maybe hang with him a little bit better here and make it by him.
Yeah, being the leader, the 43 most certainly has the advantage here, more so than many places on the restarts. You really can get yourself a gap, really get that outside lane stacked up, because it is really hard to restart here from the outside groove.
Looks like lights up on top of the iRacing official pace car are out. These guys getting stacked up, doubled up, ready to go back. Green flag racing once again. Pace car this time will make its way down into the Martinsville pit lane. 43, Brandon Bowie, and the 67 on the outside of him. These guys ready to get back on the loud pedal, ready to go. Green flag racing once again. Here we go once again.
That 67 timed it perfectly on that restart, and he's going to back off and duck in right behind the 43 as the 98 and 37 are still side by side.
Perfect job by Sean Casto there to not lose any positions. Now, the 37 of Preet trying to fight Washington on the outside.
Preet's been in that position all race, it seems, on these restarts, but he will drop behind the 98, or will he? Thought he was going to drop behind. He will actually do so. Thought he was going to fight the outside, but here he comes. I don't think he's done, but also here comes the 98 with the dive bomb into turn number 3 underneath the 67.
Yeah, 67 got stuck up on the outside that time by, here comes Washington underneath him. Heading down into the corner now, the 98 Washington trying to gain that position back.
So 98 of Washington through into second position. We'll see if he can get back to the 43 and if he can get by him.
There's a gaggle of cars a little bit further in the pack, guys. We should watch right now. You can see here about the 6 Austin Coupe 24 machine of Nick Silver's double file here for a couple rows, and then you can see further back in the pack a lot of hard racing going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see how beat up some of these race cars are, guys. Still competing in the top 10. That's Martinsville for you guys. And these guys trying to fight as hard as they can. A little bit of contact there heading down the front straightaway between the 11 and the 32.
Looks like we're about to have a battle for the lead as the 98 has caught the 43. Now down into turn 3, right on the backstretch.
Caution. It's the back straightaway.
AJ Browning in the 20 backwards on the back straightaway right now.
The 45 looks like he was also involved.
Take a look here on the replay. The 45 and the 20, it appears, made some contact, and then the 89 of Jeff Ward had nowhere to go, kind of made it a little bit worse, a little bit of rear end contact there. And there we go with another caution, couple of drivers around, and another opportunity to decide if people want to pit. Brendan Bowie on pit road. Finally, the 43 decides to get fresh tires here on lap number 73, just about at the halfway point in the race.
And David Washington did stay out, as well as Spencer Preet. They will be 1-2 on this restart.
And while we have the opportunity, guys, we are around the halfway point of this race. Looks like everybody's staying out this time. So, take a moment to do our midway race break presented by iRacing. So, these guys are around the halfway point here. And iRacing, obviously the world premier online racing game with professionally organized racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, and more. So that's his iRacing Motorsports Simulations here. And looks like with that, David Washington going to be back up front. Spencer Preet behind him. That is your iRacing midway race break. For more information on iRacing, visit iRacing.com. And obviously, a lot more sanctions coming on to this service as well, and starting to gain a lot more members by the day. So guys,
as we do eclipse the halfway point in the race, we are on lap number 76. We are back up to, with all the lucky dogs and stuff with the yellow flags, back up to 20 drivers on the lead lap. Eric Stanford being the last one. 3 drivers, 1 lap down. Harry Taylor, Cole Buck, and AJ Browning. And then the remainder of the field is either behind the wall or 2+ laps down. So David Washington back where he started, back where he's been running the majority of the race in P1. But Spencer Preet hasn't been P2 yet. I'm pretty sure this is the best position he's been in, so let's see what he can do on this upcoming restart.
Yeah, Brandon Bowie will be restarting in 10th with those fresh tires. We'll see if he can get up through the field as the pace car gets ready to pull down on the pit road. And there it goes, now waiting on David Washington to get this thing back underway. Consider turns number 3 and 4 now. And there he goes, we're back underway here at Martinsville.
Big jump by the 98 there, got the run off of turn number 4, clears by 2 car lengths over Preet, entering turn number 1. Single file, but we have double file going on for the 5th position. Austin Coop in the 6th, battling. Has the 11 to the outside, but that battle will cease itself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Spencer Preet up front, not going to give up so easy, though. He's still hanging in there with the 98 of Washington.
Yeah, we'll see if Preet can do anything with that 98, but out of turn number 2, looks like the 98 is going to pull away now down into turn number 3. We'll see if the 37, he gets right to the back bumper, but out of 4, he just cannot hang with him.
Yeah, it looks like the 98 is pulling the 37 a little bit down exit of the corner, so starting to pull away just a little bit. So it's just little by little is that 98 car pulling away out front. It looks like further back, the number 6 taking a look on the outside of the 94. The 94 actually trying to take away a position from that 6 machine of Austin Coop. That's the 94 Galen Gidman.
Still like down into turn 1. The 6 is going to dive it in deep, but the 94 should clear out of 2. No, not quite. The 6 is going to battle back on the high side.
And then right behind this guy is Brandon Bowie in the 43. He's on those fresh tires. He's passing the 12 of Ross Cato. He is about to get to this battle of Austin Coop and Galen Goodman.
Yeah, so the 43 car trying to make his way up through the field, but the battle in front of him still goes on. Galen Gidman on the low side, the 6 machine of Coop up on the high side. Now heading down into turn number 3, still going to be side by side for this position. This is the battle for 5th.
Yeah, with these two guys side by side, that's bringing the 43 right up there to them. And now he's just going to have to wait until one guy clears.
Yeah, this is kind of a position where he's going to be in a precarious spot. Which lane do I want to go with? The inside or the outside? And we have a caution. Back straight away.
Turn 2.
82 machine sideways. Drew Adamson.
Yep, Drew Adamson taking Bill here tonight, it looks like. Contact with the 8 machine. Looked like a racing deal down off of turn 2.
Yeah, that was Kyle Kammer in the number 8 machine. Kind of got on the left rear of Drew there, and a little bit of a lazy spin gets it going. But again, we are behind the iRacing pace car.
It's like two guys coming down pit road, the 17 and the 6.
So, we're going to take this opportunity to go to a quick commercial break. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back with you.
The best late model stock drivers in the country kick off 2018 racing.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for the restarts. Green flag back in the air. 98 on the throttle. Washington gets the run down into turn 1. Preet up on the high side.
Yeah, Washington had a really big bobble on that restart, and that allowed the 37 to stay with him. But now the 11 of Dylan Jones is looking underneath the 37 of the 37 of Preet.
Preet hanging on the outside off of turn number 4. The 11 of Jones trying to get a little bit of wall contact there, it appeared, from the 37 of Preet. Stays on the outside. Here comes the 11 with the dive in turn 1.
The 11 on the low side now underneath Spencer Preet. That's going to be Dylan Jones trying to fight for that second position. Side by side down off of turn number 4.
Out of 4, Preet got a pretty good run, but still was not able to clear. Now down into turn number 1, the 11 of Jones diving in deep into that corner, sliding up just a little bit, and 37 loose. They made contact there out of 2.
All the while this is going on, the 98 has pulled away to about a half-second lead, but that battle has ceased. Moved the 11 into P number 2. See if he can do anything with the 98.
Trying to get to the back-to-back bumper of the 98 machine will be the first step here in this. It looks like He's having a pretty good run here so far, pulling away from Preet, kind of starting to gain on the 98 machine now.
Yeah, it's running just a little bit quicker. We'll see if he'll be able to get up to his back bumper. But we got new tires on the 43, or newer tires than this top 3 with Brandon Bowie. We'll see if he can do anything with these guys.
Yeah, about 25 lap fresher tires on the number 43 machine. His next driver in sight is the 37 of Spencer Preet. Last time by, however, though, he ran pretty much an identical lap to the drivers he's battling with.
Caution on the speedway once again. Number 81. It's Mike Taylor around once again. Looks like
he hooked the curb off turn number 4.
Yeah.
And just kind of fishtailed it on the front straightaway. A little lazy spin and some light contact into the inside safer barrier on the front straightaway.
That'll bring out yet another caution flag here tonight.
It looks like the 11 of Jones as well as the 37 of Preet coming down pit road. Our leader Washington did stay out.
I see Gale and Gidman coming down with those guys as well. A couple of guys from the back of the pack, mid to back pack.
And this brings up another point that we kind of talked about earlier in the race, guys, where when we do have this many rapid fire kind of yellow flags, it really puts an alternating pit cycle on where you kind of have to pick and choose which yellow am I going to pit on, because you never know which one's going to lead to that long green flag run.
I think for the most part, the guys that pitted under this caution will be done pitting for the rest of the night unless they get caught up in a wreck or anything.
Yeah,
just about 50 laps to go.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one. And I'd even say that those guys up front now could be done pitting for the night.
The only one I'm worried about is Washington, who has got 48 laps on his tires. Everyone else has 23 or less.
Yeah, he's got a challenge ahead of him for sure, because I don't see too many guys coming down pit road from here on out. You know, especially with the amount of cautions that we've had, it would take a much longer run to get these guys down pit lane.
And we are up to, what is it? About 22 drivers on the lead lap, so but in 50 laps of racing that we do have left, a little more than that, you're not going to gain under normal circumstances. You're not going to really even go from 10th to 1st unless you really have a lot of stuff go in your favor. So again, we go back to the track position game, and I hate to say it for him, I think his bed's kind of made at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but for right now, these guys still under pace speed. Washington in the lead. The 43 machine right behind him. Couple of really fast guys sitting towards the mid to back pack right now. We saw Spencer Preet come into pit lane. Look for him to be making his way back through the field. But these guys stacked up, doubled up, ready to go back. Green flag racing. Pace car will be making its way down into pit lane, this time by, once again, the 98. Waiting for him to get on the throttle. He is a control car. He will bring the field back to the green flag on the throttle. Now we're underway once again.
The 43 could not hang with the 98 of Washington, but he was able to stay ahead of the 67. So now we'll see if Bowie with those fresher tires will be able to do anything with Washington.
The 43 machine trying to get to the back bumper of Washington now. Now caution flag.
Dylan Jones. Oh, I'm sorry. Who was that? The 11, the 45 machine. I'm sorry. Of Carl Shed. He is backwards in turn number 3. Sorry, I saw an orange car.
It was 9. Yeah, the 45 looked like he was up on the high side. Big shot from the 89 machine. Turned him around.
Yeah,
so that brings out another yellow.
Contact from Jeff Ward in the 89. Remember, Jeff Ward was running in the top 5 earlier in the race, but you can see the damage to that number 89 machine. His race has obviously gone sour, down to the 19th position and dropping, and you can see the heavy damage he does have.
Doesn't look like anyone coming down pit road except for the ones caught up in that wreck, which is kind of what we assumed.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up, Evan, and we kind of assume that these guys are going to try to stay out this whole time. We know if Washington pits now, which is, like Evan said, kind of who we're most concerned about on the oldest tires here, but, you know, I really can't see him coming down pit lane either.
But it's as fast as that 98 has been, I mean, even with his deficit, I do think that he is still in a really good position. I think he's been obviously the fastest person tonight. As long as he's been doing a good job with those rear tires, he should still be fine, but it will be very interesting to see if the 43 can make something happen with him.
But other coverage of the Full Throttle Real Sim Racing Cup Series is brought to you by Joel Real Timing, the official timing software of LSRTV. Whether you spend your time on the sim behind the wheel or on the pit box from the spotter stand, JRT is the go-to software for iRacing timing and scoring analytics. Get yourself basic download for free or get a pro version today at joel-real-timing.com.
So as we take lap number 105, your top 5 at the moment, David Washington is your leader, Brandon Bowie second, Sean Casto in third, and we have Nick Silver in fourth, and Austin Coop rounding out the top 5 at the moment. As the lights are off the pace car, we will get going in 1 lap's time.
So these guys getting stacked up, doubled up, ready to go green flag racing once again. Corey, why don't you take it away for this restart?
Oh, certainly the hard left turn by the Mustang pace car into pit lane. We go through turns 3 and 4. 98 very early on the throttle. Green flag back in the air. Around,
Wreck
big
on the
one.
next stretch, big wreck.
Oh, no.
64, 69, 23. Again, we have a complete stack up. Oh my goodness, on the front straightaway.
That...
Back on LSRTV replay and try to find out the cause of that on this restart.
That is the big one if I've ever seen it. It looked like it started with the 64 machine, guys. Looked like he got loose. He just...
Yeah. 64 just got some wheel spin there again, trying to get on the throttle at that awkward point on corner exit. Just got sideways, and again, I've never seen that many cars come to a stop. That is an amazing visual, but again, brings out the yellow flag yet again.
Wow, yeah, that was good job to a lot of those drivers for getting stopped and preventing themselves from getting too damaged in that mess. And you know, a lot of those guys walked away damage-free just from coming to a stop. So props to a lot of these drivers out here tonight.
So we'll now see if Washington comes down pit road, as I believe it is open. Looks like he is staying out.
Yeah, I really, from here on out, guys, I really don't expect him to come down to pit lane. Just over 40 laps to go now.
Yeah, he'd fall too far back to be able to get his track position back, and only about 40 laps to go now.
All right, so we talked about your top 5 drivers. That has not changed in the 6th position right now, just to kind of give you a little bit more of a field rundown. Michael Guerrilla in the 17 machine, running in the 6th position right now. Ross Cato in 7th, Braden Whittaker in 8th, Dylan Jones in 9th, and then rounding out your top 10 here on lap number 109, Shane Ewing. Currently have 20 drivers, correct that, on the lead lap right now. Again, caution on the speedway has been the name of the game here tonight at the short track in Virginia.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys haven't had the opportunity to get any longer runs in here tonight. I was expecting to have at least one, but the most that we'll get now is just under 40 laps.
So it kind of puts the question in, I mean, if we're going to have kind of these little short bursts of racing here, let's kind of extrapolate this out to the end of the race. What do we expect to see for a finale? What do we expect to be, who do we expect to be able to win? Is it the 98, or are we going to have some short track fanatics going on for try to have a shot at the win for somebody else?
I'm just going to say I do not think the 98 is going to win this race. I don't know if that's because he's going to get moved, but just with how old of tires he's on, I don't think he'll be able to hang on.
Yeah, eventually, perhaps the heat cycles. Perhaps he just maybe gets a little bit too much wheel spin off the corner. You never know, especially if the 43 is able to put the pressure on him, and even going a little further back. Sean Casto, Nick Silver, Austin Coop, really anybody in the top 5, I think, still has a shot at it, especially those on the inside lane.
I think the driver in the best position right now for this restart will be the driver of the number 43 machine, Brandon Bowie. I think he has the speed, and I think if he can hold the outside or even get down to the inside as quick as he can, he could have a shot on this restart. But pace car ready to pull in. Evan, take us away.
Pace car down on the pit road now, waiting on David Washington. He went early last time. We'll see what he does this time. Once again, going early. We are back underway here at Martinsville in the 43. He was not able to stay with him, but he was able to stay ahead of the 67.
Bowie clears on that restart. Now has to try to get back up to the back bumper of the 98 machine, side by side behind them.
Casto in Silver for third and fourth. Here comes Coop to the inside in the 6 underneath the 24 machine. Again, we know how hard it is to pass on the inside. Looks like the 24 will prevail. But again, Coop with the look on the inside. Kind of washes up the track just a little bit. Still side by side off 2.
Coming down the backstretch, 24 got to the wall just a little bit. He's going to dive in deep into turn 3, but the 6 will clear. And now the 17 looking underneath that 24.
Yeah, that 17 machine. Oh, big wiggle from the 24 machine. Now heading down into turn number 1. 17 trying to take a look down to the bottom. He'll clear.
Here comes Dylan Jones trying to take a look to the outside there. Maybe a little cross contact with the 37.
Oh, boy.
Preet's around.
Caution. 37, Spencer Preet. Go back on LSR replay and see what happened there.
Yeah, it did look like there in the 37 machine of Preet.
See, a little bit of contact. The 11 was not giving him much room there, but contact between those two drivers. And
Preet got on the throttle really well off turn number 4, gave him a run to the inside, and just didn't really have a lot of real estate there. And a little bit of contact, and surprisingly, the 37 actually got the worst end of the deal on that.
So once again, Washington and others stay out on the racetrack, guys.
Looks like Nick Silver did come down pit road, but he is all alone down there.
Perhaps saw a little bit of damage there. We saw the hard racing he was enduring. But guys, something that I was watching the telemetry of the top 2, and much to my surprise, and I'm sure to yours as well, the 98 in that clear traffic was actually running faster than Brandon Bowie in the 43 on those older tires.
But how many of the laps on Washington's tires were actually under green, and how many were under caution? That is the question. Very
valid point there. But that 25 lap advantage, perhaps it's not as it's not as bad as we expected it to be, but again, especially if he can get those good restarts here as the laps tick away, any fresher tires that are on the speedway are going to have a lot less laps to make them happen and make anything positive come out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, one thing I noticed there on that last restart, Washington got a really, really good jump. The 43 of Bowie was not quite able to get back to his bumper.
In Washington, he's gone early the last 2 times. Now, will the 43 be able to assess that and maybe try and time it correctly and be able to stay side by side with him? That's the question here on this restart.
There's a little bit of a leader tactic here at Martinsville. You kind of want to run up the track a little bit, get yourself that good arc down, so that way once you decide to get on the throttle, you can just get a really straight run off turn number 4. That'll get you the run. That's what the 98's been doing. It's just a matter of whether the drivers around him can catch on to that and whether they can react to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, maybe you got to expect the unexpected. Obviously, Washington being the control car, he's gone a little bit earlier both times. Will he do it again?
Oh, lights are on the pace car, so we'll find out here in about a half a lap.
These guys stacked up, doubled up, ready to go back. Green flag racing once again. Your leader, the 98 of Washington, 43 of Bowie on the outside. Pace car makes its way into the Martinsville pit lane. When will the leader go? These guys are ready to get going. He's on the throttle once again. Green flag back in the air.
Not as good of a start as the 43 would have wanted, but a lot better than he had the prior time. Within a car length of the 98 is he, but we have 2x2 action going on for the next couple rows back.
Sean Casto in that 67 underneath the 6 of Austin Coop for the 3rd position. Coop hanging tough on that outside.
The 6, Austin Coop, trying to make that pass here on the outside. See if he can roll through the corner here. That's the key to try to hold the momentum there on the outside and make a pass. You really got to roll it through.
You really
Looks
do.
like 6 went a little too high there.
Well, nearly into the wall is Coop there. That'll open the door for the 67 to nearly clear, and the 11 of Jones trying to fill in the gap there if it's open. A little bit of a look.
Caution. The number 9.
Oops, here we go. We have a junkyard in turn number 1, the 9 machine sideways. That's Randy Yoakum.
Wrecked going into turn 1. Yeah, go back on replay. Hard hit from the 9. Got turned. It looked like he came down the racetrack, guys, and maybe thought he was clear, but looked like turned off the nose of the 81 machine, and everybody piled in from there. So back under the caution flag. Your leader is still Washington. 43 of Bowie still right behind him.
Washington is kind of starting to do what he's needing to do and changing up these restarts each time. He went a bit later last time, and the 43 was not able to anticipate.
Yeah, and the car that I kind of expected to maybe get a little bit better start is the 67 of Casto. Usually when you're on the inside behind the leader, it makes it a lot easier to kind of expect that jump. But not happening that time by.
And we're going to take another quick opportunity to go to a quick commercial break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Racing, you wanted the best, you got them for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back, race fans. Back here for the restart. Pace car makes its way down into pit lane. Washington on the inside is the control car. The 43 on the outside. They're underway. Green flag back in the air.
That was the jump that the 98 needed. Got a car length lead, but the 43 drives really hard into turn number 1. A little bit of contact there. 43 from the 67 there. That allows the 98 to really pull away.
Now Coop looking underneath that 43 contact.
He hits the curve, around goes the 43! Up at the outside wall! No! Caution
Another
flag is in
junkyard.
the air.
We're stopped on turn number 4. Everyone is completely stopped. Track is blocked.
Second place on back. Racetrack ended up being blocked there. Go back on replay. Austin Coop in a 6, dove it deep on the inside. It looked like he hit the curb on entry.
Yeah, he
sent
did.
him up the racetrack, and that sent the 43 around. It looked like Bowie would have saved it, but contact between the 67 and the 6 sent them up the racetrack, and that blocked the racetrack for everybody else.
Yeah, the 43 nearly was able to hang on to that. They kind of almost pancaked themselves into straightening back out, but a little bit of a right-hand turn at the end of that save obviously was the final dagger, but we're within 20 laps to go right now. Obviously everyone's bet is made on the strategy game, but up front nothing really has changed in the leaders' perspective, but we are going to have a new guy on the outside front row.
So we're going to restart with about 15 laps to go. Who are you guys' picks?
Well, I'll let you guys choose first.
Corey, who do you want?
I would Stain because they're all Fords up front.
I'm gonna have to go with Washington. I hate to pick the obvious, but that's who I gotta go with.
I'm going to go with Casto then. That's 67.
Yeah, both good picks. I mean, we saw Bowie definitely could have put up a challenge, and the 67 Casto, he's showing some really good speed. He just has to be able to get up to the back bumper, and I'm sure once he's there, he will not be afraid to use the bumper.
And now we'll see if maybe Casto can time it just a little bit better and maybe be able to hang on to the right rear quarter panel of Washington.
Yeah, and we also do know, guys, the third place machine right now, Dylan Jones, he is a fast car. He's rather heavily damaged, but we are on the short track. I don't expect that to be to his detriment, so let's see if he can perhaps stay with the 98 as well. We're only going to have a couple more shots at this. I'd say at most 2 more yellows we will be able to squeeze into the remaining distance, most likely 1, so the opportunities are dwindling.
Yeah, so these guys, if they can get a break in between cautions to try to race this out a little bit, I'm sure these guys going to want to try to get up there to the 98 machine. Circumstances under the last restart, it didn't really allow for anybody to catch him. Instead, he managed to pull away. Contact between drivers allowed him to do so. I think Casto really needs a good restart here, though, guys.
Yeah, he's got 25 lap fresher tires than the 98, but these guys are getting ready to come to the green.
Pace car getting ready to make its way down into the Martinsville pit road once again. Corey, take us away.
For what could be the final restart tonight, we have the 98 of David Washington, your leader. We have the 67 Sean Casto on the loud pedal. 67 did not get a good restart, but we're back.
Start called off. Oh, 69
right.
Tiller around.
Harry Tiller, heavy contact. Wow, what happened there?
That is a very good question. We'll have to go to the replay and sort that out, but we did have a waved off restart and then a little bit of checkup that was obviously some miscommunication throughout the field there, and stacked him up on the front straightaway, and we will have a restart / yellow flag situation here with about 13 laps to go.
Harry Tiller had checked up for the caution. The 89 machine behind him did not get the memo, and just without realization that everyone was checking up, around goes the 69.
Looks like the restart has been waved off again.
Officials trying to get things sorted out here.
Yeah, because our kind of what would naturally have been a delayed green has kind of turned into a full-blown caution here, where we had some actual incident going on as we saw. So maybe another lap or two to re-rack the field here, allow drivers to pit and get sorted back out. And this should put us within 10 laps to go.
Harry Tiller, is as much damage as he got from that, it looks like he's going to end up staying out.
I mean, he's not going to have too much issue with overheating in that machine. We can at least say that much. But again, beauty of the short track, you're not going to really lose any aero speed and handling. It's mainly a mechanical track. So, hey, what the heck? If it drives, we got 10 laps to go. Let's see what he can do with it.
Pace car down on to pit road now. Waiting on David Washington to get this thing back underway. There he goes. He has cleared the 67. We're back underway. Now it's a battle for second with the 11 and 67.
67
Contact,
on the outside.
67
Around goes Casto. Caution flag in the air. 67 took a spin. Collected a couple of other drivers as well. Contact between the 67 and the 17. Sent both of those drivers around in front of the field. 23 involved, 24. See the 4, the 20.
So Harry Tiller is coming back in third.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
we can confirm at this point that we will have one more opportunity at a restart here, as the iRacing cutoff lap is about 5 laps to go. We do not have green-white checkers, so this should be the final stab at it.
Yeah, absolutely. The Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series here, presented by English Auto L.L.C. Starting to wrap up here. Tonight we'll get, as you said, Corey, one final shot at a restart. So far, still holding the lead is David Washington. Back behind him is still going to be, well, now it's the 11 of Dylan Jones, and Harry Tiller back there in third with, he's took a beating here tonight, but he's still hanging in there.
Yeah, that machine is tore up.
It's also the highest position we've seen that 69 machine in all race, so he's only going to have to run about 5 more laps at the maximum. So let's see what he can do in this last opportunity. Can the 98 hang off for the win? Well, hang on for the win, rather. Can the 11 get a good restart? A lot of storylines to play out here in a few laps.
I'm sure a lot of guys anxious to get this one last restart in. Hopefully they can take it all the way to the green. Or all the way to the green, all the way to the checkered.
For those who joined the broadcast late, our points leader, Daniel Eberhardt, he is going to finish shotgun on the field today, 35th position. We're going to have a huge shakeup in the point standings. Can the 98 stick it out? Can he take the points lead with his win tonight? We're going to find out, and potentially one more pace slap around the Martinsville Speedway. I lied, it'll be 2.
I think he is set to take the points lead as long as he does not get involved in a wreck. So only 9 points back from the points lead going into this race here tonight. He should be okay to take that away after this race.
So that will be what he wants. Obviously, the Eberhardt did not have the result he wanted here tonight, but that's what happens on the short tracks, and this should give us the one to go. We'll take a look at the pace car. Lights are off. We're going to have a good old-fashioned 3-lap short track battle.
Yeah, absolutely. 98 on the inside, 11 on the outside. Harry Tiller back there. I'm sure he's going to want a win. It's been a pretty frustrating night here for Tiller. Been involved in pretty much anything and everything here at Martinsville Speedway, but pace car ducks it down into pit lane. It's going to be 4 laps to go when they take the green flag here on the throttle once again as the 98 green flag back in the air.
98 got the jump he needed, but the 11 is going to dive it into 1 and try and get to his back bumper out of 2. 98 still getting the run.
Down the back straightaway, Dylan Jones trying to fight for a win.
Next flag will win the race, whether it be yellow or checkers. So these guys have to take every opportunity while they can. Another lap ticks off the board, and here we go. We have a battle for
Wreck on the front stretch. Caution.
Caution!
AJ Browning in the 20 backwards on the front straightaway.
Go back and take a look at that real quick. It looked like contact between him and the 82 machine sent the 20 around. Along a couple other guys involved. The one car was also involved in that. Couple other guys as he spun up in front of the field.
It looked like there, unfortunately, for the 11 of Jones. He had just got to the bumper, did not unfortunately have the time to make the move. So as long as Washington can make one more pace lap around, he will be tonight's victor.
With his 47 lap older tires.
They'll be taking the white flag this time by, and out in front is the 98 machine of David Washington. As Evan just said, those older tires here, quite a bit older than everyone else's. I really personally didn't think that was going to work out for him, but awesome job to him and his team here tonight. The 98 David Washington. These guys will slow roll it down through turns 3 and 4 behind the iRacing official pace car as they come off of turn 4. The yellow and checkers will be waving together. Your winner here tonight at the Martinsville Speedway, the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series presented by English Auto LLC, the 98 David Washington.
So a very good performance here for the 98 machine. Led the majority of the laps, stayed out there on those older tires, but was able to get the victory tonight. Rounding out the top 5, Dylan Jones, Harry Taylor, Colby Buck, and Nick Silver. Good night of action. A very yellow flag oriented night of action here nonetheless. But again, that is a short track racing for you.
So we're going to send it to commercial break here. Stay with us. We'll be right back with you for the post-race show.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSRTV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Live Sim Racing L.L.C. and iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations. LSRTV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.
Hello and welcome back, race fans. Back to LSR TV and iRacing Live. Real quick, before we run down through the race results, we would like to mention that these are very unofficial results, an iRacing scoring error here tonight, but we are going to run down the results that we've been getting. So finishing in first will be the number 98, David Washington. Then it's going to be the 23 of Rod Flagg. Third is Sean Casto. Then it's Sean Wing, Carl Shedd, Andrew Jones, Brandon Bowie, Austin Coop, Braden Whitaker, and rounding out the top 10 is James Crock.
And 11th, Michael Garugula in the 11th spot, Ross Cato in 12th, and we have Nick Silver 13th, Goldie Bucket 14th, Harry Tiller 15th, Dylan Jones in 16th, rounding out the top 20, Jeff Ward, Spencer Preet, Eric Stanford, and Daniel Falkingham with a 20th place finish.
And finishing in 21st is Seth DeMerchant. AJ Browning finished 22nd. Lionel Callisto finished 23rd. Gabe Wood finished 24th. Galen Gidman finished 25th. And then rounding out the top 30 is Randy Yoakum, Dwayne Vincent, Brandon Chambliss, Mike Taylor finished 29th. And then Kyle Kammer ran out the top 30.
Finishing 31st is Drew Adamson, then it's James Ross, Andrew Fernandez, Shane Parrish, and rounding out the field in 35th is Daniel Eberhardt. So now, we'll go through and we'll give you your top 3 interviews here tonight, starting out with your winner here tonight, David Washington. David, you come home with the victory here tonight. How do you feel?
I'm tired. About halfway through that race, I was falling asleep from all the yellows.
Give us a little bit of a rundown of this race here tonight. I mean, obviously, a lot of short runs, but tell us a little bit about your strategy going into this thing.
Just watching, talking to the teammates there and, working on pit strategy. As long as we could keep one of us up front, it really didn't matter. As we started getting into the later stages, it started rounding out to be like it was last year, where track position was key because of the yellows. And at that point, with like 50 to go, I think Jones pitted and we just stayed out. Tried to manage the tires as best we could without, slowing up Bowie behind me too much and, having, play bumper tag. But yeah, I mean, it just worked out in our favor again. I call it luck because we didn't get run over or have anything crazy happen tonight.
Absolutely. A long 150 laps here tonight. You mentioned being a little bit tired from that one. Tell us a little bit about the end of this race.
Basically, I had to change up my restart. The tires were still sticking good at center exit there on the restart, so I just kept doing it. And I thought Bowie would have caught on, but I guess from being on the outside, it's a little slipperier. But being on the bottom, taking off from that center there off, it was great. So I just kept trying to do it, change it up a couple times, but I try to just keep trying to throw them off a little bit.
Well, for sure that worked. I mean, obviously in between the caution periods, you had those green flag runs. Tell us, was there any concern that maybe you weren't going to walk away with a win here tonight?
No, see, for me at this track here, it took me like 4 to 5 laps for the car to come in. It didn't matter if I had brand new tires, old tires, it just took that long. So I looked kind of slow at the start. But once it came in, I just was able to just keep hitting my marks.
Well, awesome job here tonight, getting the victory. Is there anyone that you'd like to thank or give a shout out to here, David?
Yeah, big shout out to Andy for being on the box again this week, Mom for watching, all the guys at Aegis. Some of them had a lot of bad luck tonight, but we got a couple week break here, and we'll be back at it again. But you guys for broadcasting this. Sorry to the fans for having to watch this stuff, but whoever stuck around, glad they did. We'll see you guys next time.
Wave that checkered flag proudly down here in Victory Lane. Your winner here tonight at the Martinsville Speedway, David Washington. And now, I do believe Corey has second place finisher Harry Tiller.
All right, Harry Tiller, you finished second here tonight in a very...
Dylan Jones.
Correction, Dylan Jones. Dylan Jones with a second-place finish here at the Martinsville Speedway in a very calamity-ridden 150 laps. Talk about how your race was and ultimately what led you to the second-place finish.
Luck, pure luck, zero skill whatsoever I had during that race. Yeah, I just couple wrecks that were huge wrecks on the restart. One was right in front of me, and everyone just went every direction except for where I was, so we just drove through that one. We got hit a few times, saved it. And I think we could have got Dave there at the end. We had like 10 lap newer tires than him, but I tried to give him a shot there at the end, but, you know, big old yellow flag come out again.
So do you think, I mean, obviously we didn't have a long enough run to really gauge what kind of speed most people had, but did you have kind of a feeling of what kind of pace you would have or who you could have battled with tonight if we did have a little longer of a run?
I'm sure the main guys that were up there, you know, Dave, Andrew, Daniel, I think got wrecked the first wreck. Bowie's up there. All those guys, I mean, we probably all could have had a good race, but throughout the race, we all kind of had our own issues and got picked off one by one.
Obviously, the short track fever took over tonight, but you did salvage a second-place finish, which is obviously nothing to shame about that. So who makes it happen there for that 11 machine? Who do you want to give a shout-out to?
Just thanks to all the guys at Aegis and LSRTV and everyone who didn't hit me tonight.
All right, 10-4, congrats again on the second-place finish. And now Evan Black will talk to our third-place finisher of Harry Tiller.
So, Harry, you come home with a third-place finish with a pretty tore-up race car there. What are your thoughts after this race?
So much happened. I don't really know what to think. That was a bit nutty, that race.
That car looks pretty tore up there. Was it driving? Could you tell much of a difference from how it started to how it was driving there at the end?
I could tell the handling was a bit off. Like, I don't know what it was. Just like the entrance into the corner just didn't feel clean like it did before. But I didn't have enough laps to already suss out what the issue was with it before somebody wrecked in front of me, and I was seeing another door coming straight towards my face, and literally with my face on the bonnet. But it was a hectic race. I went a lap down after I got involved in one of the wrecks and worked my way up, and don't know who it was, but there was someone who was a magnet to me. I think it was Carl Shed in the 45. We were just hitting each other, not intentionally. We were just in every wreck together, just one of us in front or behind the other and hitting each other. But every wreck I got involved in, and it looked pretty bad on the car when I got out of it. But I never lost any RPMs, and I don't know how that happened. That was just a miracle.
Yeah, so coming into this race, did you think it'd be this hectic, or did you think there would be a bit more green flag racing?
I mean, I've never been in RSR before. I mean, I've done races this season, but I came in with literally just a practice that we had before the race at Martinsville, and I picked it up fairly quick. But it's Martinsville, so you know it's going to be hectic. But after the first wreck on the first lap before they even got across the start finish line, I was thinking this one's going to be a hairy one. And when I went a lap down, I did see a lot of numbers.
All right, well, you came home third place with that tore-up race car. Is anyone you would like to thank or give a shout-out to?
Yeah, I want to give a shout-out to Cozy, Michael Cozy Jr., or Wimbow8820 on YouTube. I was taking over his stream tonight just because he's up in Martinsville with Travis. And I want to say thanks and hi to all the people in the chat for coming out and watching it. They make their races a lot more fun, especially when you're under caution with them. Some of the stuff they say in chat's pretty funny. And thanks to Spencer being a teammate for the race. It's a shame you couldn't get a good finish because he was run up front. And thanks to Rod and Seth for just being teammates, and Rod for getting us in the league. Yeah, that's it. Cheers.
All right, well, once again, congrats on your third place finish, and thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our coverage here for the Full Throttle Real Sim Racing Cup Series presented by English Auto L.L.C. We saw a lot of pacing here tonight, but man, did we see some good racing there between the caution periods. So, thank you, everybody, for watching here tonight. We hope everybody enjoyed the show. Of course, for me, Brandon Kreutz, and Corey Silva, Evan Black here in the booth, and producing tonight is the famous Cisco Scaramuza, and everybody else behind the scenes here at LSRTV. For more information on the upcoming events here on LSRTV, be sure to check us out at www.livesimracing.com. So, with that being said, guys, hopefully everybody enjoyed. We'll see you next week.